Good morning, everybody. Hope you've had a great week. We're actually in Kentucky. My dad, we're celebrating. We got a ton of people coming over today, and we're celebrating his 87th birthday. So we've been here for a couple of days. It's been really good. I'm not going to take a lot of time today, but I want to make sure that any questions you guys have, now is the time to get them answered. One idea that I want to share that I've never shared before, and I think this is real important just from a training standpoint, from a mindset standpoint, and that is we'll tend to want to compare ourselves with other people that are part of this Ninja Boot Camp. And they look and see, well, they sponsored 2 people last week, they sponsored 1 person last week, or whatever. And when you tend to have that thought, the program response, and again, and we talked about program responses last week, but the program response should immediately be, look how far I've come. I cannot stress this strong enough. I think that what I just shared with you this morning, I've never shared before. It really, this morning, it's like it was what's that word? Or Shelley, epiphany. But it was like this morning, I'm realizing that when when you start comparing yourself, and I don't know why I've done this my whole life. So the things that I had done naturally, it takes me a while to figure out. And I've never taught this what I've just shared with you guys. But guys, there's a lot of power in when you start comparing yourself with others immediately. I mean, immediately, it should switch in your brain to look how far you've come. And if you guys think about when we started this a few weeks ago, and just the awareness and the understanding that you have now, and the advancements that you've made, the understanding of the market in which we're dealing with, and it's not what most people think it is, and the lack of total understanding and awareness that most people have. And if you just will, whenever you feel yourself wanting to compare yourself to somebody else, just remind yourself how far you've come. I think that will serve you well. Some of you have seen the big picture that I've got that hung in my office for years, and is a picture of my little house on Avondale Avenue and my beat up Chevette. But underneath it said, never forget. Never forget. And I think it kind of goes along the same lines with you guys. So all of you, if you're doing your part, you know it, and you should be plugged in, and you should be proud of what you've learned to this point, and realize you're just getting started. There's so much here, and you're just getting started. So I just wanted to start with that this morning. I wanted to remind you guys there is a call at noon today, Eastern, 11 Central. And I want to encourage you to get your questions answered. If you have questions, get your questions answered, and do not let, don't get your questions answered. Don't be talked over. Make sure your question is understood and get it answered. Wait a minute, Don. Wait a minute, Don. That's not what I asked. I mean, that's what you may have to do, and be willing to do it. Get your questions answered if you have questions, because I have questions that they aren't important, and I pick my battles, but I have questions that I still don't know the answer to, that I should. And, this call could be called trying to unravel the confusion you have created. Would be a good title for this call. And again, guys, I hope you all know where I'm coming from. But again, get them answered. I hope to meet a lot of you for the first time here. And if you're going to be attending this event, some of you've already let me know, but just if you can write down mdawncalvert@gmail.com, mdawncalvert@gmail.com, and let her know if you're going to be in Sioux Falls for this event. We just would like to know who's going to be there. Want to recognize the top 5 number of outreaches done this week. And as you see these massive numbers, your program response is, look how far I've come. Did y'all catch that? I hope you caught it. Number 5 in Australia, Viola Tam, 500. Number 4 was Gwen. I think Missouri or Arkansas. I can't remember. Yossi is in Switzerland, doing an awesome job. Number 2 is Alan Knight. Alan's out in California. And number 1 this week was Kurt Summer, the one and only. Kurt is the unsung hero of this team, out there getting it done every single week. Kurt Summer, also in California. Okay, I'm going to revamp this whole Ninja program. I don't know how yet. I've dropped the ball. I've added more than I should have added. I didn't. I should have been eliminating people every single week. I didn't. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But it is going to be revamped at some level. Some of you still don't have tag team partners, and that is on me. So I'm going to do some revamping. I'll figure out exactly what. It's just been crazy. I tried to squeeze 3 hours a day into 10 minutes that I did not have. And that it's just on me. I didn't have 10 minutes in my day, and why I thought I was going to be able to do this at the level that it needs to be done, I don't know. Okay, I do want to let you guys know about this. The podcast is actually up. It will be on Facebook probably today. It's the audio version of the podcast. That's a scary picture. That all I'm trying to do, I'm hoping it's like, what the heck is that? And it'll get a click. But I do want to let you guys know what my plans are at this point, as of this morning. If you've not heard this, listen to it. It's at MLMsuccess.com right now. The audio is. And there will not be a video. A lot of my podcasts are just recorded on YouTube, but it's still audio. It's not video. Here's my plan. I'm not sure how long this training is. It should be a course. At this point in time, it is the best information that I could possibly share with anybody. And the 3 secrets are, number 1, direct outreach is the number 1 way to find people on the hamster wheel. Number 2 is, what is number 2? What is number 1? Actually, number 2 is number 1, so I've messed myself up. That being with the right company at the right time in history with the right team is probably the most important factor for success in this profession. If you're with the wrong company at the wrong time in history, you don't have a chance. And if you're with the right company at the right time in history, but you're with the wrong team, your odds diminish drastically. Um, and I cannot for the life of me think what the third secret is. My mind. I'll remember it in a minute. Uh, but here's my thought process here. Now I'm aggravating myself. So let me stop and figure out what it was. What would it be? It would only be in my notes, which I don't have. I am medicated this morning, by the way, so just bear with me. Sincerely. Um, my mom, she's every time I come, she's pouring stuff down me, all this natural stuff, and she just I don't know what the concoction was this morning, but it was like, oh my gosh, you're strong, Dale. You can do it. She's handing me a blender full of something. Uh, anyway, what is it? My gracious, Dale. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, if you're going to make it today, number one, you got to be at the right company at the right time in history. You have to, direct outreach is the best way. Oh, and of course, the obvious, consumable products are blockbuster. Consumable products are dead. Those are the three things. If you understand, forget trying to build it with a consumable product, that direct outreach is the number one way to find people that are on the hamster wheel that you can help off. And number three, being with the right team at the right time in history are critical. So those are the three main points of this, and it's extensive. So my thought is when somebody says, I don't respond to spammy messages or whatever, y'all are getting that I have a short, like it's 2 minutes at the most. Boom, 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 boom. If this makes sense for you at all, go listen to this. And what my thought is, here's my thought. We have a 2 minute 2x4. When you guys get that, spammy messages are wellness is the only way to do it. And I love my products and blah, blah, blah. It's 2 minute 2x4. The 2 minute 2x4 sends them to the section of this podcast, the section of it, just that section. There's three distinct sections. That section then sends them to the whole podcast if they want to listen to it. So it's when you guys are getting these my team's the greatest in the world, blah, 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 or whatever, you send them a 2 minute 2x4 short video, which points them to the section from within this podcast, which points them to the whole podcast. So that's the thought process, because if people ever, and I'll give you an example real quick, you'll hear it when you listen to this. But I had a guy that's a 7-figure earner, and I sent him a message, and I love his story. He's been around for a long time. He was selling drugs in the streets and went to prison and came out of prison and found network marketing and has done extremely well in network. I love the story. He's not part of our team, but I've watched him for a while. So one night I sent him just a direct outreach message, and and I've got all this copied, and I talk about it in this podcast. He's like, bro, what do you think you're doing ending up in my email box? This ain't the way to do it, bro. You're crazy. You think you're going to build a business this way, blah, blah, blah. Same thing you guys always hear. And I said, I beg your pardon, but I'm currently have the largest team in the company we're working. And it's the best way to do it. And he comes back at me and he's like, if you show me that you're in the top 10 on your leaderboard or on any position in your leaderboard, that you've done anything, that this absolutely works in any way, I'll take it all back. And I said, so I sent him a message. I said, I hope you're a man of your word. And I sent him the documentation video. Okay, this shows, it's like, and so then that led to a really good, valuable conversation. Um, he ended up joining us, which I didn't say that because I don't want to wait to see if he does anything or not. But he did join us. But he did send me a voicemail on Facebook, a voice clip. And the voice clip basically says, uh, you know, we all built this business in the early days with direct outreach, and then a stigma was attached to it. And now it's like you're not supposed to be doing that. And we all know that sending targeted messages or sending specific messages to your target market is the best way to do this business. But everybody's kind of bought into the fact that this stigma was attached to it and nobody's doing it anymore. And it just makes too much sense. And this is in his words. So this podcast, this session, and that session of the direct outreach, playing his words on the podcast, it's like it's got to really resonate with people. They're not going to forget it. So I really believe that this is going to be one of our best tools. 2-minute clip, going to that segment, going to the entire podcast. I think we're going to be able to have some good conversations with good people that have just took the wrong when they got to the fork in the road, they just went down the wrong fork. And I really am excited about it. So I just wanted to let you guys know, be aware of it. I got more coming, but it started. And listen to this weekend if you can. It will be dropping on Facebook soon, probably today. It's already at MLMsuccess.com. Okay, next thing. When people ask for, can I see the marketing plan? Can I see the comp plan? This is the site to send them. But I think it's important that we establish the fact that the difference here is we're marketing products that collectors want. The difference is collectors want to add to their collection. And with wellness products, 100% of zero is zero. So in other words, it doesn't matter what the comp plan pays if nobody's buying the product. And that might be the term to use. It doesn't matter what the comp plan pays if nobody's buying the product, but this comp plan with another company created 4 millionaires. Here's where you can go get the information. What I am saying is, yes, use this website, send it to them, but give them a tweak of their brain before you send it to them. Does that make sense? Don't just say, here it is. Don't do that. Don't say, well, here's the comp plan. You have to establish the fact that, yeah, here's the comp plan. It's already created, 4 millionaires with another company. But the key point here is comp plans pay nothing if people don't want your product. Something along those lines. And again, you guys, I just want you to get the thought behind what I'm saying. You can use your own words, but get the thought behind it. When people ask for the comp plan, the program's response should be send them this website, but tweak their brain before you send it. Get them thinking right, because they didn't want to go, well, this binary does this and this, and it's like, dudettes, who cares? It doesn't matter. The percentages mean nothing if people are not buying the product. People don't want your face cloth any longer. They never did. So you have to come from that perspective. I hope that helps. I'm just trying to give you thoughts, some thoughts. So that's the first thing. Again, I don't want you guys to rely on me for answers. I want you to rely on me for the flow of the conversation and understanding what you're really doing here. I mean, it's you're communicating with somebody else. You got to figure out who they are as quick as you can. And again, I think everybody understands the basics. The basics are, we want to find out, are they still with whatever company? How long have they been there? And if they've been there over 6 years, are they full time? If they've been there under 6 years, I would never ask that question. Never ask that question. And then let them know the reason I'm contacting you is. It's really simple. And take a look at the video. Let me know what questions you have, or take a look at the video. I will have questions for you if it makes sense. It's a real simple process. We have to know who they are, how long they've been there, and let them know why you're contacting them. We have other wellness distributors that are joining us. Take a look at the video. Let me know if you have questions. It's real simple. The first thing that you need to think about, and I haven't talked about this, and this is important, is I want to see what kind of tone are they replying to me with. And some people reply, and their reply indicates that they're curious about what's going on or what we're doing. So some people, their reply indicates they're curious. Some people are very logical. They're very logical. They might ask how many collectibles are on the website or something. A very logical, very well thought out question. And I love dealing with curious and logical people. Those are good people. Then you got people that get emotional, and the emotions sometimes become irate. They go off, they lose it, because the truth hurts. The truth hurts. So that's going to happen too. And then some people just are totally irrational. I mean, just totally irrational. And some are just misinformed. It's like, how in the world could you be trying to market a backup service, this got backup thing? It makes no sense. It's very competitive. And I promise you, people haven't thought about the backup system on their computer. It's like, oh, I need to change it. Oh, I need to get another one. No, they don't want to hear about it. They're happy with what they have. Leave me alone. And even worse, if they do buy it, you're working for a $4 or $5 commission. Come on, it makes no sense. And there's smart people that are doing it. It just makes no sense. So again, a lot of times people make emotional decisions, and then they try to justify those decisions based upon facts. And when the facts aren't there, they get emotional about it. And it's just understanding all the dynamics that are happening when you're doing this, and just be cool with it. Just take a breath, think what's going on here, and respond accordingly. This is real important. Don't let people put words in your mouth. I mean, this was a standard message. We're in the same direct sales group, blah, blah, blah. If you're a career-minded distributor who wants to earn 100,000 plus in the next 12 months, check out this video. Nothing wrong with that statement. Then the person replies back, like a smart aleck. Question: how can you guarantee anyone can make $100,000 in the next 12 months? She didn't say guarantee. So the response was, and again, don't let people put words in your mouth. Don't let them put words in your mouth. That includes Don Carson or whoever. Don't let that happen. So you don't let that happen. Make sure, you just don't do that. So the response is, did you watch the video? I didn't say guaranteed. I said, I am looking for people who want to. In other words, we're looking for career-minded people. We've helped, and again, you can say our team if you want. Our team has helped more people because you're part of this team, and we have. Even if you weren't here when we did, you're part of this team, and we have even if you weren't here when we did. I'm okay with that. You should be okay with that. We've helped more people go from 0 to 100,000 over the past 12 months than any network marketing team in any company in the world. Check out the video. And if you feel you may qualify to work with us, Miss Smart Alec, let me know. Are y'all following what we're doing here? That is a terrible response here. You know, that they're trying to pick a fight here when they say something like that. Don't let them put words in your mouth. And if they want to pick a fight here, they're in the wrong ring. I promise. They're in the wrong ring. Okay. We're not asking questions for the sake of asking questions. Okay. And this conversation, and again, I see this quite often, and I just want you guys to understand this. It's like we're asking questions to gather information. So in this was a long series of questions, and then it ended with, and he said, I was introduced by another person, so I don't want to waste your time. He said, no problem. Can I ask who introduced you? If he tells them who introduced him, what value is that to know that? What value is there possibly to knowing who introduced them? Don't ask a question that provides you no value. I don't care who introduced them. You know, if you want to say, well, I hope it was a member of CMG, that would be better, but it really is, it's not an issue. It doesn't matter. So here was the response. Everyone pay close attention to your prospects' answers. Don't, oh, that's another one. Sorry. I thought I had a response here. Maybe I didn't. But a better question here would have been, awesome. When did you join us? If somebody says, I was introduced by another person, so I don't want to waste your time, say, awesome. How long ago did you join us? How long have you been with us? Because if I ask him, how long have you been with us? And he says 7 days or 3 days or 2 weeks. Now, what do I know? I've gathered information. I know that he did join. When he says I was introduced by another person, he did not say I joined with or I have sponsored. I'm assuming he hasn't sponsored yet. I'm assuming that, but I don't know that. So I need to find that out. I can't continue understanding what I'm dealing with unless I find out, have you actually joined? And hopefully he has, and hopefully he's with a CMG member or a CMG member is talking to him. But if he says, so if I say, awesome, how long have you been with us? Or when did you join us? And he says 3 days ago, say, great, welcome. Do you remember? And then I would, out of curiosity, just see if he joined with somebody on our team. Because if I would just want to know, but it doesn't matter really at that point that the conversation's over. So don't assume anything. Every question that you're asking is to gather more information to help you realize where am I going with this conversation? Because you can go down so many rabbit trails that you don't need to go down. And sometimes you feel like, well, I have to ask these 4 questions before I can do anything. And that's not true. And here's a really good example of that. If the door opens, walk through it. If the door opens, walk through it. So he sends the initial video here. And the first question is, what does your ordering website look like? What does your ordering website look like? What does that tell you? That tell you this person's watched the video. That's a very good question. You don't ask, did you watch the video? Of course they watch the video. They know there's a retail site. See, and I see this often, guys. You're not hearing what they're saying. You're not processing it. You're just going through step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You got to stop, think. Wait a minute, take a breath. And again, this takes a little bit of time, but what does your ordering website look like? That tells me ding, 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 ding. This person is a good prospect or interested. No, I'm not going to ask, did you watch the video? Of course they watched the video. When I asked, did you watch the video? How much attention do you think they're paying to what's going on? If this is me and I said, what does your ordering site look like? And they said, did you watch the video? I would not, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not even responding to that. This is some rookie that doesn't even, they're just following a script and they aren't even paying attention to the conversation. And this person that did this is a ninja. I mean, they're good, but we all have brain farts from time to time, which I proved this morning when we first started. Okay, so we all do. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. I'm just saying, try to really think. So I sent this reply, and I hope you guys saw it. But if you didn't, everyone, please pay close attention to your prospects' answers. Don't miss doors that are open. Try to stay on script. You can go off script when the door opens. In this case, when she asked, what does the ordering website look like? It tells you she watched the video. That is an open door question. Then she asked another very intelligent question. How do they change the products and where do the products come from? Sending her to your due diligence is the right move at this point in the conversation, but let's back up. When she asked, what does the ordering website look like? What are we trying to do? Help them see the facts and sell themselves. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. So the next step is the box. The person asking the questions is in control. So the perfect response would have been, it appears you're open for more information. If somebody says, what does your ordering website look like? It appears you're open for more information. First name, it appears you're open for more information. The next step is to check out this video and let me know after you watch it, and I will have some questions for you and send them directly to the box. Send them directly to the box. And then I've got something down here where I can't see what else I said, but I think then what I wanted to do is say that the ordering website actually doesn't launch till around September 1st, but you can get an idea of what it will look like here and send them to your Collect Direct site. But again, guys, I'm really trying to help you continue to refine your skills. It's not just a paint by numbers situation here. You've got to listen. You've got to profile your prospect. Are they curious, logical, emotional, or irrational? Profile them. Know who you're dealing with. If they're irrational, all you're trying to do is really upset them, really plant the seed deep, and move on. I'm going to yank their chain. If they're that irrational, I'm going to yank their chain. I want them to not forget this conversation, because when their tag team partner contacts them in a month or so, they'll be a lot more, hopefully, logical. They won't be so irrational, because by that time they will have realized I ain't gonna make no money with got backup or whatever, and they will be more open to hearing whatever we need to communicate. All right, I think that was it. Yeah, I know it was. I just wanted to cover a few things with you guys this morning and let you know that this is coming, so you kind of got an idea where we're going to go with it. And I'm going to stop this, and I want to make sure we get any and all questions answered this morning, because I'm going to do some revamping of this, and I'm still undecided on exactly how I'm going to do that, but I am going to do it if I can figure out how to stop this. Dawn, I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to be. Oh, I got this in the way. Oh, here we go. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Questions, comments, Mr. Phillip, go ahead.
Morning, Dale. Great training, really good training. A lot of it, I'm sure a lot of us ninjas are supposed to know, but it was a good refresher. I had a question only because I watched a training yesterday through Apollo about cold emailing, and this guy's supposed to be like a cold email expert. He always finishes his cold email with a question. For example, like, does that sound good to you, or are you looking for this right now? Right. And he says, as opposed to saying, let me know when's a good time to have a meeting, or let me know when is when we could book a call. And he says that naturally as humans we're ingrained to answer questions, but we also, when someone says let me know, it's like more of like a command, like, no, I'm not telling you nothing. So I don't know if at the end of our script, instead of saying, I don't know if maybe we should just do A/B testing on it. I don't know.
No. I mean, I'm good. The bottom line is make sure you're answering a question. Don't ever end anything without asking a question, or saying, "Hey, get back with me after you've watched this."
Mm-hmm.
And lately I've been saying, if this makes sense to you, I'll have questions for you after you've watched it. Let me know after you watched it.
That's
You
good.
know, yeah.
Or could we say
So
something like, after we put the link, and I hope after you watch the video, or tell me, I don't know, let me know if the video makes sense to you. Well, that's still let me know, but I'll brainstorm.
yeah, the bottom line is always ask questions, and the real rubber hits the road. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
Yep.
You can't say the wrong thing. The right person, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
Perfect.
I got a guy Thursday. Michael Clark, you can Michael Clark, you can put whatever background you want back there. I feel terrible. Feel terrible. Uh,
Don't worry, man.
I was just messing with you, and it's like Don gave me upside and one down the other. He believed you, Dale. He thought you were. Oh, I'm
That
sorry.
was
I
hilarious.
apologize.
Don't
I'm
worry.
glad you're here. What were we talking about? Um,
Can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
yeah. I have a guy that contacted me Wednesday, and he said, I don't know. He said you'd sent me an email, and he said I've just finished this video, and he said I've been in network marketing 27 years. I've made millions of dollars. I built a team of over 300,000 was my biggest team. And he said, I have never heard so much truth in 1 hour that I just heard. And I just finished the last MLM. And he said, I'm blown away. He said, he went through a real bad stream of COVID. He was in the hospital for 61 days, feeding tube, everything. And he said, when I was starting to come out of it, he said, I realized I only want to do this one more time. He said, I want to build one. And he said, I'm not doing nothing until I find the perfect company that I believe that I can stay with for 30 years and that makes sense for the masses. And he said, I think I've just found it. He said, I think I've just found the answer to my prayer. This was Wednesday. And I put him on. I said, I told him about our corporate call, and I said, look, I'm going to send you to the corporate call, and I'm going to send you to our Zoom call. But I'm just going to be honest with you. The reason I'm sending you to the corporate call is because I believe you have the experience and you can handle it. I said they might be talking about hats, and we're not in the hat business, so you never know what you're going to get there. And I just told him, I'm just being straight up. I don't want, because I've lost people from sending them there. And I said, look, so I think you've seen enough to where no matter what goes on, you'll be able to handle it. And I said, when it's over, call me and we'll get your questions answered. If you have any more, and we'll get you started, get you signed up. And we had the conversation was over. And he said, he said, it's everything. Cause I'd already sent him to, do your due diligence, and he'd gone through everything. So I thought he would be fine. And he called me back as soon as it was over. And he said, Dale, he said, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. He said, I'm ready. And he said, I am. He said, I'm glad you gave me the heads up on the corporate call. He said, but it was okay. He said, some people like that stuff, and I said, yeah, they do, but not the people we're looking for. I said, we're not a social club here. And he said, well, that was obvious from your call. And he said, but here's what he said. He said, give me your link. I'm getting started. I will see you in Sioux Falls, and I'll probably have a couple of people with me. It's $9.97 to be a member. Do you understand, guys? That's who we're looking for. Now, that's the high end of who we're looking for. But we're looking for people that we're looking for the right people. And it's okay to run off the wrong ones. It sincerely is. Because I'm telling you, they'll drain you quick. I don't need people around me like that. This guy's going to be phenomenal. He'll be phenomenal. Okay. So, and again, they're out there. Okay. He just found the last MLM. If he had seen any of your all's last MLM, he would have contacted you. He didn't know me. He didn't know me. Marilyn.
To those questions that you asked in the beginning, I always seem to ask, did you join to make money or to buy the product wholesale? Because I find that's very helpful to distinguish who's the customer and who's the affiliate. Is that wrong to ask that question?
It's not wrong, but I don't normally do it as much. And it depends upon the company, because a lot of company, it does depend upon the company, because some companies are only designed to make money. No, there's nobody on the planet that's going to join Live Good for the product. It's a money, it's all that, it's appeal to mediocrity, make money on memberships. So you got to know the company that can determine that a little bit. But what happens is, and you all had this, you've had somebody that's been sitting around in name the company social club for 3 years. They get a message from you. They think, oh, I've got a distributor. And all of a sudden, they're getting ready to get serious now that their kids are back in school. Now, I've just kind of been hanging out, but I've had this, but now I'm getting ready to build my team, because they think you're going to be their first distributor. And so I don't use that question as much as I used to. And again, sometimes I will, but it depends upon the company. Like Melaleuca, I would always ask that, because there's a lot of people that joined Melaleuca 9 years ago to build a business. And for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, they couldn't tell you one part of the compensation plan if they had to. They're just hanging out in the social club. So it kind of depends upon the company. I know that's not as a distinct answer as I would like to give, but I hope that helps.
Well, with Plexus, I've been on their Facebook group and I find there's a lot of customers there. So
Yeah,
that's the case. I don't know.
yeah, and I would do that with Plexus, because a lot of them did start out to build a business. Now they're just hanging out buying product because they haven't figured out how to stop their auto ship. Yeah, and that's just it. Diane.
Morning, Dale. Thank you for the
Morning.
great training. I do have a question. I had a gal that actually went through both the Vox video and the last MLM, was supposedly very excited about joining the company. I tried to reach out to her by phone one evening, and she said she came back with a text message that she was in a meeting and she'd contact me, get in touch with me, or we can't connect the following day. And I've been trying to reach her for the last 3 days by text message to see what a good time was. Should I have called her back, or should I just Eagle file or tag team?
This is always what you do. So what has probably happened is she's seen it for what it is. She's went out and talked to 2 or 3 people that thrown up on her. Now she's decided she's not going to join. That's probably what's
Okay.
happened. So but in that situation, you know that she's filled out, that she watched. How do you know she watched the last MLM?
She filled out the form at the end, but I did not check and verify that she had seen it.
No, but she filled out the form.
Yes.
Yeah, then you just want to call her for the interview.
Exactly, and that's what I've been trying to touch base with her on, and I have not gotten any responses from my text messages to find out what would be good times to call her.
Yeah. I would only send one text message.
Okay.
And going back from now on, send one text message. I'm trying to schedule a good time for us to spend a couple minutes on the phone. And I would like to give, and I like to give them 2 options. Like I would say, would Wednesday at 4:00 in the afternoon work for you, or would Thursday? I have Thursday evening at 8:00 open. You got
Yep.
that?
Got
That's
it.
real important for all of you. It's real important. Not when would be a good time. I have 4 and 8 open on these 2 nights. Which one would work best for you? So that's the first thing, guys. Y'all all get that. That is important. And then if I don't hear back from her, then I would say, Diane, I'm extremely busy. I'm going to go ahead and scratch you off my list for now. In the future, if you decide you want to if you want to put your hat in the ring or whatever to be a member, let me know. 1 text message 2 times, scratch them off the list.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Dave.
Yes, sir. Outstanding training as always. I as I was listening to you talking about, believing in yourself in the beginning, it's just, once you get it in your head so many times, it just becomes second nature. And I think sometimes when we're doing the outreach, we have a tendency not to really, we're going so fast, getting so many messages, maybe take a second or 2 and read the message twice and try to put yourself in their position, say, and because and man, this takes practice, because I'm out of practice, to be honest with you. I'm way out of practice, but trying to consider their point of view and where they're coming from might make your answers a little bit easier. But don't waste your time, people. I mean, in your gut when you're talking to somebody if you're getting anywhere or not, and if you're not, just let it go. But great training, outstanding. Thanks.
Cindy.
Hi, this has been an excellent morning. You hit on some great key points. Just something I want to add. I stumbled across this morning, or actually a few days ago originally, and the importance of Pinterest, because we're all on social media, we're putting our ads and everything else. Well, this girl has a course, it's a free 2-week or 10-day or whatever it is that I signed up for about Pinterest, because they're making changes and that sort of thing. And one thing that struck me on something she talked about, is like a half-hour thing this morning, is the different time that a video or a post will stay on different social media platforms. And I don't know if you knew this or not, you probably know this, but 4 months on Pinterest, something stays there, rather than 5 hours or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think a collectible board on Pinterest with with different collectibles will rock it. I think it'll
That's
be
what I've already
phenomenal. Yeah, with a for retail customers for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
yeah, yeah. So if you have experience with Pinterest, I mean, a collectible board on Pinterest, that makes sense to me for sure.
yeah. Also, I've been getting a lot of, I mean, like we're talking a ridiculous amount of friend requests, and most of these people, and I've already pulled aside your financial things that you've, used for responses in the video and stuff. A lot of these people are extremely pushy, no other way to put it. And I'm pretty much cutting them off like, like that. But I didn't know there were that many out there, that the financial crypto platforms, because I've never been bombarded like this before. And also Live Good. I've dropped that bomb a few times this week, and they start with a laughing emoji. And I'm like, you can laugh now. However, and I just give them a couple of more brief statements, and a lot of them are starting to quiet down and not be so, arrogant about it. So
Yeah.
that 1-3 video is working.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And they will, because all of a sudden it's like, I had 5 people fall off my $9 membership last month, and I only added 2. And next month I had 7 fall off my $9 membership, and I added 1. And that's all coming. It's coming for all of them.
well,
For sure.
This is one girl that I ended up sending her to my tag team partner, but it was really funny because at the end, and this always rings with me when you say, the truth will set you free, but she was getting all pissy. So I wrote at the very end, I said, the truth will set you free, but first it's going to piss you off, because she was getting, you need to stop.
Yeah. And a lot of times they'll just block you. Because the truth hurts so bad. It's like they just block you.
I was surprised she didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Greg, then Alan.
Hello, with the 4-minute 100K side gig video, I looked at it on YouTube, and then I went and I saw I was going to share it, and I saw it got pulled down. So I found another link in the group, and I shared that one. And I went back to check yesterday, and that one's pulled down. Why are they getting pulled down? And is there one that I can use?
Don't use that in direct outreach. Don't post it publicly.
Well, it is direct outreach. I'm doing it in messages. I'm not posting public.
If you're doing the messages, you're fine. Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, the original one we pulled down, I put out a message on that to everybody in the Ninja group to change the URL, use this URL. The second URL, the new one, you should be fine. You should be fine. It should not come down for any reason that I'm aware of.
Okay.
The new one. I mean, I'm using it. I used it this morning. It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went back, I did my initial outreach in May through LinkedIn. I sent everyone a group the lock-in thing. So what I did was I went back to everyone I sent the lock-in, and I sent them that just to follow up, say, hey, I didn't hear back from them this, this just launched. Take a look at this. And then I think that video may have been pulled. So
yeah, a lot of people lost a day because we had a snafu, I'll just say. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Alan.
Good stuff, Dale. Thank you. So couple of things. To give an example, I got this message yesterday. Hi, Alan, can you believe it? I watched the video. You reached out to a total stranger, and they'd like to find out more, and he's got a crying happy face. Okay. good work by you. I look forward to speaking with you, and we have a call scheduled for Tuesday. He has to do your own due diligence. This wasn't a network marketer. This was in a business opportunity group. So anyway, that's, you do 1,000, you'll get some of those. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's just, it's a numbers game with that. It's like, so that's it's good, right, guys? I mean, there's nobody who can't do that. There's nobody who can't just post. And you'll get some of those, and and we'll get to where we're good enough, and we have enough. A lot of stuff that's coming in for me now is from like a couple weeks ago. It's starting to like build some snowball effect, which is really fun when you wake up with a bunch of messages. And so the other thing that I was just thinking about is, I think there's a pendulum in this messaging stuff too. We go from being timid to sometimes being monsters. And there's that neither one of those are good.
That's right.
So as much as Dale talks about a 2x4, the 2x4 is never, the intention is to help people. The intention is always to help people. It's never to like be vindictive or to just annihilate them. So it's like, and I see some people that are like so eager to just call them stupid, and we're gonna call them stupid. I mean, because there's, I mean, sometimes that's helpful, but not exactly stupid. But anyway, but the thing is just what that Dale has a saying with love. You can say anything to anybody if they know that you got love in your heart, and sometimes that you need to say something that really like gets their attention, but it's never to show them how stupid they are. That's not the purpose. The purpose is that for your tag, at some point down the road, they're gonna be open. And if you're too like, if you go too far, it won't matter which of us contacts them. We'll be the evil bastards, and so anyway, so it's just watch where you're coming from when you're doing that piece, and still check with somebody. Even, I mean, just check in, when you're going to design your own 2x4, just to make sure, hey, is this too much? Or, and sometimes I get ticked, I do. And so, but I'll check in with somebody to go, you think that's too much? And they'll say, yeah, you got to tone it down just a little bit, so anyway, there's that. And then for me personally, just there's Adele, we talk about the your morning routine and those kind of things. It's critical to have self-talk going, because it's so easy to, just talking about myself, it's just so easy to get off track. It's so easy to, ego can get out of balance. A lot of different things can happen. And so we've got to be extra vigilant on our self-talk, to keep building us up, in order so that we keep growing to meet the good stuff that happens, because it's as hard to deal with the good stuff as it is. It's easier when you do start doing outreach. It's way easier to deal with bad stuff because you get so much of it. And then when I had this guy say this thing, and I had to like message Shelly, because I'm like, what do I say to this guy? He's nice. It's like, I think he's being sarcastic. And now he was just being genuine. It's like, but with continuing to build up your self-talk, so that good things could happen to you, that's going to help a lot. so just a daily self-talk, however you do it, if it's through Chet Helmstetter's like app on self-talk, or writing out, or doing your mirror work, or obviously, listening to positive stuff, including the podcast of Dale's, it's critical. And so anyways, that's it.
Alan, you've been doing this a long time, and it's like, I think people get to a point where they start down this road, they start getting familiar with everything, and then inevitably people start pulling out the 2x4 too early. Everybody does. Once you're not afraid to use it, then you want to use it too quick. And it's just, you just got to be careful. You can't use it too early. Would you? And I know you probably agree
Yeah, I
with
mean,
that.
I think you got to keep in mind what you're doing.
We're trying to get
And
people off the hamster wheel.
The cool thing about Dale is he doesn't get triggered. He doesn't get triggered. Like they can say, I mean, every once in a while they'll have slightly elevated blood pressure, but it's like they can say like the most heinous things at times, and he's still coming back with, I'm trying to shake him out of this. I'm trying to shake him out of this. It's like, it's not just for the purpose of like showing them how stupid they are. And so, and it's really tempting to do that, or just to, I'm ditch you next. No, leave the mess, figure out a way to the best of your ability, help them. And that can be very disturbing for them. That's okay. But it's like, just, you got to keep that centered in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Or we're
it's
just
real
like them.
important.
Or we're just like them. If we don't do it like that, we're just like them. We're just like, you said this, so I'm saying this. Well, your mama wears combat boots. It's like, that's not this game.
That's right. That's right. Dawn, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just had a question real quick. We take roll on here every week, and there's been a user on here, iPhone. Can you tell me who you are? That's what your screen name is.
That might be my iPhone because I just switched iPhones this week.
No, it
I'll
says
check.
Dave Josto, John Stowe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this person was on there here last week also. We don't require registration on this one, and since we don't, iPhone, can you identify yourself?
Maybe they don't know how to come off mute.
Yeah, so John, like on the Zoom, we have to drop them if they don't show if they they can come back on next week and tell us who they were.
Okay.
Kick them off. Jeff Turner. You're still on mute.
Yeah, I know there's a psychology around, prospecting, and we're sorting, and we're not selling. I knew I've been skating for a while, and it took me a while to develop certain skills. So the question is really like getting to 1,000 outreaches, 1,000 outreaches. How long is this cycle? Is there like a cycle? How there's a business life cycle? Is there a cycle of a professional prospector? Like this person, you could tell this person's coming down the road, and 3 months later, they're this skilled, their skill is here. And 6 months later, their skill is here, and 12 months later, their skill is here.
No, because everything's changing all the time. The markets are changing, companies are changing, companies are merging, companies are going out of business. People are becoming more delusional. And that's just the truth. But as far as doing 1,000 outreaches, that's just time management and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can do 1,000 once you decide I'm doing 1,000 a month. You'll do 1,000 a month. 1,000 a
Right.
month, not 1,000 a week.
Right.
1,000 a
Right.
month. 25, 250 a week for 4 weeks. Anybody can do that. And I think you have to do that just to get into a rhythm and get comfortable with all this. Because this is this is really uncomfortable till it's not.
Mm.
It's really weird until it's not.
Right.
But once you start realizing, okay, this is another irrational person. Okay, and see what the trap is. You think everybody's irrational, but not all of them are irrational. And you got to give people the benefit of the doubt until you can't. And I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I try to,
Right.
but it's hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But man, there's a lot of people on the hamster wheel that want off, good people that we can help off. And that's all we're looking for. And that's not the minority or the
Right.
majority. The minority of the majority of network marketers are delusional. They just are. They aren't doing a business. They're just in a big social club hanging out. They're not doing the work. They're not doing the work, and nobody wants to tell them to do the work, because if you start telling them to do the work, they'll fall off auto-ship and go somewhere else where they won't tell them to do the work. Did y'all just hear that?
Right.
That's what's going on. If I tell you to do the work, you'll fall off auto-ship and go somewhere where they won't tell you to do the work. You don't want to do the work. Nobody wants to do the work. They just want to dream the dream. They just want to be called a rock star when they log on. There's my rock star. They ain't even talked to their mama yet. I don't play those games. This is serious. This is life altering for people. I mean, where is Dave Johnston still on there? Yeah, Dave's still on here. And he was sitting there every week in his best, in his lunchroom at his job a year ago. Now he's quit his job. I think he'll make 400,000 this year, for 200 for sure. And he was sitting in the lunchroom in his vest. This is life altering for people. Jerry Zink.
Hey, how we doing, Dale?
Pretty good.
Hey, I don't know if what I've went through with this outreach will resonate with anybody, but at least it will maybe help people, know about some real stuff. So I've never done outreach this way. I've messaged people that are friends of mine on Facebook with something I think can truly help them, but I've never done outreach this way. And the reason I haven't done that is because when people do it to me, I hated it and I blocked them. You know what I mean? I didn't find it professional. So I had a paradigm in my brain, in my subconscious, that because this wouldn't work on me, it's not going to work on other people. And it took me a couple of weeks to plow through that paradigm. So I now have probably 4 people that are pretty interested in this thing, that have gotten through the process, that have seen the due diligence. But man, that took me a couple of weeks and I know this stuff. I study mindset hard. But it finally took me a little bit to realize that I had a paradigm. I had to have a paradigm shift. I had to get out of my own way and realize that I'm not the issue. And just because I've never gravitated to that, or I freaking hated it. I mean, I hated it. Somebody reached out to me, that I didn't know was some bullshit pitch. And I'm like, man, grow up, so I had to get through that. And I've plowed through it and it's working. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? Dave, did you have something else? Your hand's still up.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what you've been saying. I mean, the teaching is in the words, but the learning is in the silence. And I don't want to, I know this is a boot camp, so I don't want to get too crazy, but your self-talk all day long, and it's been hit on several times here, has got to be, you just got to get up in the morning and say, I'm going to have a great day. And I remember Mr. Calvert here years back would tell us I could have a terrible day and you'd never know it. I just keep it to myself. You know, your mother said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. But it's just numbers. I mean, you really want to get going fast here, just go out and get your nose bloody. I mean, just, you know, pivot.
Absolutely. This is easy. It just gets easier and easier and easier. It just, X number of people contacted equals reasons fulfilled. Period. Bottom line, end of the story. And when you're going into the market with something like this, and when the retail side opens, it's crazy. Dave Johnson, then Jeff Turner, and then I'm going to be done. I'm going to go spend some.
Shane's got his hand up too. He just. It's
Oh
a
yeah,
different
Shane, you
shade.
got to change the color of your hand, dude.
Will do,
I'm just,
sir.
I'm just messing with you,
I
but don't let
understand,
me.
sir.
I feel like I'll miss you.
No, you're good. Hey, just to Mr. Turner's point, I just like to quote something that Dale always said. You know, it's going to take, like you just mentioned, a certain number of outputs to get some people's response, and then out of those responses, you'll get people who follow through. But you also want to get to the point where you can put 5 people on your team a month, and then after that, you start readjusting your goals. So it's just something that Dale's always been kicking in my head that I thought Mr. Turner may help you when you ask for a cycle. Start looking at that. It's work to get to 5 people on your team, and then you can sit and readjust your goals accordingly.
You got to get to 5 a month minimum, whatever you got to do, and see what happens. Another, you get in while I'm doing the work. Okay, why are you not getting the conversions? Are you cutting people off too quick? You know, or what is, you know, because if you're doing the numbers, you will get to 5 a month. But then sometimes it runs in cycles. It's like, dang, I messed up everything. I sponsored 11 people this month. You know, you'll have those months where it's like 11 people join me. Now I got to get them plugged in. I got to make sure they know about the cause, and I got 11 people. So it's just a rhythm and it's a routine. But if you got to average 5 a month, Dave, Mr. Johnston.
Hey guys. Sorry I was late this morning. This has been a very painful but exhilarating.
We don't know, we don't care, we didn't notice.
Exactly. The thing I wanted to mention was that thank you for the shout out, Dale, because that's the important thing that has been at the forefront of my mind lately, and it's a paradigm shift. And being here at these meetings is causing, you know, I'm absorbing everything. I do absorb everything. And for this week, I think I would have handled it much differently had I not been part of this team. And you know, so when you say that this is a personal development combined with a compensation plan attached, that's serious. There's a lot of things where the growth is, and I'm moving forward, and it's kind of a slow inch forward right now, but it's okay. I mean, it really is okay. My mind is in the right place, and I take these tools and I run with them, and everybody I talk to hears a little pitch of some sort from me, because I'm very serious about my business. And so as I deal with life circumstances, I'm still focused in on this. I was late today and I apologize for that, but it's not like I'm not absorbing this. This has impacted my life in a way that I could have never even imagined. And yes, you're right. I'm already over 200,000 and I'll move up in that. For ERC, I got a bunch of stuff done this week. For Collect Direct, I have done the outreaches that I felt like I could do, and I'm moving forward. So hopefully this week I'll have a little better grounding. I'll have a little better foundation to stand on. It won't be so weak. But I appreciate everybody here and what you bring to my life. It's important.
Cool. Jeff, did you have something else?
Yeah. One of the things I was just thinking about as I was doing the outreaches and stuff, I'm thinking like, you know, in the junk removal business, you know, I had built the business up one time. I wasn't on the truck. Then Then I got back on the truck, and my father, he taught us like the work ethic, hard work. But I'm like, this is so easy. And I'm like, man, when you get to the point where you get to 5, 6, 7,000 a month, and it's like this, it's like, man, it's kind of like in my mind, I'm like I'm trying to comprehend that. Like, man, you don't have to work as hard, really. It's kind of blowing my mind because I'm seeing the process after I listened to last week's boot camp like several times. I listened to it and I was like, man, this guy's talking about me. I got to get my numbers up. I got to get my numbers up. And I started realizing, like, man, this is not even hard. It's not even all you have to do is get through the numbers. And I'm like, man, when you finally get there, it's gonna be like so freaking satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a head game. It's between your ears. It's when people come at you and it's like you blah 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 blah. And it's like once you can get used to that and it's game over. It just doesn't, it's just like, oh, doesn't matter.
Right.
Mr. T, Tom.
Yeah, I want to talk about the grind a little bit. And Dale, you know this quote better than I do. Can't think straight this morning, but it's like some people do things for a short time so they can have
Successful people are willing to do for a short period of time what most people aren't, so they can do for the rest of their life what most people can't.
Right. Write that down, you guys. Put it on a post-it note, stick it on your computer, because that quote is the key to the grind that we have to go through every day with these outreaches. And I'll just give you, I started my window cleaning business literally 40 years ago, 2 months ago, 40 years. And what I did to build it was I grinded by putting flyers door to door in these neighborhoods because I only do homes. And I would go out on a Saturday and I would do 3 hours of walking, putting flyers on doors. And that was the grind for me. And I got to the point, and I would also put a sign out in front when I was working with people would walk by and take a flyer. I don't do that anymore. And I haven't done door-to-door flyers in years because I got to that point where it's word of mouth now for me. And I have way too many customers and I can't keep up with all the work I have. And I think that's exactly how network marketing works.
You got it, man. Grind 5 a month creates growth. After growth, you run into a duplication stage. Once this starts duplicating and you got 40 people doing 5 a month, then you got choices. You got choices. Grind, growth, duplication, choices. That's the whole goal here. It's not about you. You gotta get through the grind so you can have the growth, so you can create the duplication, which ultimately gives you choices. Grind, growth, duplication, choices. It's the way it works. No shortcuts. It's the way it is. Or you can sit back in your little social club for the next 10, 15 years. And that's what most people do. They don't want to work. They don't want to grind. They just want to go. They just want the benefits. Doesn't work that way. Anybody else before we end it up? If you have questions for Don, make sure he answers them for you today at noon or whatever time it is, your time. Dave Johnson, Dave Buchanan, you act like you wanted to say something, my friend. You have anything, Dave?
I was writing down that grind, growth, duplication.
Okay. I could tell you were in thought. All right. Appreciate you guys. I hope this helped. We'll have a recording up if you want to watch it. I mean, really, this whole boot camp, getting this in your mind, it's just critical. If you've not listened to the new podcast session, listen to that and be aware, because that's going to play. I think it will provide us all great dividends moving forward. I really do. I think it's going to help us all. So listen to that this weekend if you get a chance. Thanks for everybody for jumping on. We'll see you next Saturday. See you
Thanks,
Wednesday
Dale.
night. Yeah,
Thanks
thank you.
for taking time off your vacation.
Thank you. Thanks, Dale. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dale.
Stop
You guys.
working.
Have a
Yeah,
good weekend.
Dale, stop answering
Stop res-
posts.
Stop
Exactly.
responding to, stop